Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Batman, The Penguin action figure. This is the Penguin from the upcoming The Batman film, coming out on March 4th. It's played by Colin Farrell, and it looks absolutely nothing like Colin Farrell. They did a fantastic job with the makeup. This version of Penguin is grounded in reality. It's pretty much a kind of fat guy in a suit, gangster, mobster. I imagine he'll be warring with Carmine Falcone in the film. I got my figure from CMD store. I believe they're based in Canada. They had the figures for $22 each. I figured it's worth paying the price to give them a little bit early. I absolutely love suited action figures. This guy's right up my alley. Great mobster, gangster, fantastic version of the Penguin in my Batman action figure world. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. The Penguin, DC Multiverse from the Batman. Here's Penguin in the package. Looks like he only has 2 alternate hands, totally 4 interchangeable hands. Also a collector's card and display stand. One side of the package, the Penguin from the Batman. The other side simply says the Penguin. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's the Penguin posed up in the streets of Gotham. And here are some other figures from the Batman you should check out. So no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting 3 of these figures, one of which to keep unopened in my complete unopened Batman-related action figure collection, and then 2 to open, 1 to use as is, and 1 to head swap and have another mobster or gangster. If I like him, I'll probably end up getting another one. This is the type of figure I like, right up my alley. Great for my Batman world. Here's my entire collection of McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Batman figures unopened. I believe I have absolutely everything except for the upcoming Target exclusive Unmasked Drifter. If the movie's a big hit like I hope it's going to be, they might make some more figures, but I believe that's the entire collection so far. Alright, now I've got this figure out of the package. Here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, and 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands. I imagine he would have come with a gun, but Warner Brothers has a no-gun mandate. No officially licensed DC figures can come with guns from pretty much any company. Now before we look at his accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Penguin from the upcoming The Batman film, played by Colin Farrell, and he is unrecognizable in this role. They did a great job with the makeup. In this version of Penguin, he's not some freak monstrosity. He's just a gangster, and that's how he's supposed to be. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his head here, I can definitely see the resemblance, not to Colin Farrell, but to that thing in the trailer. Looks pretty good. He's got kind of the scar on the side of the face. The cheeks kind of gross looking. Very serious. The hair sort of parted down to the side. Looks good. Looks like a gangster or mobster from Gotham City. He's got kind of a purple shirt, purple tie, black trench coat, black sort of jacket underneath there. It all looks very good, but it looks like it's going to really hinder the articulation there. And you know what, that's fine. This guy doesn't have to be super articulated. He's just a thug or mobster, although he's going to be one of the ringleaders. So looking single jointed elbow, looks like it has a bend with rotation, and which is kind of odd. It has rotation of the elbow, and it has a bicep cut. Going further down, looks like single jointed knees, and they're quite low. Dress shoes here, black slacks. Just a regular looking dude from Gotham City, and I love that. And here's a closer look at his face or head sculpt. Now I've had some people ask me, how's the likeness on this guy? Well, the likeness to Colin Farrell is not there, and it shouldn't be there. But likeness to this made up character, the Penguin from the trailer, is definitely there. Is the face sculpt perfect? No. But honestly, I think it's damn good. I mean, look at this thing. The cheeks, the wrinkles, it's all pretty spot on. And it looks like maybe he's a little bit side-eyed to the right, but it's really not very noticeable or very bad. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC on the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet. It's very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the figure of Penguin standing in the streets of Gotham. Looks like it might be Chinatown. The Penguin from the Batman. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them. Here he is with his first pair of hands. His left hand is a fist, and his right hand, it's sort of a little pew-pew hand. It's a hand pointed like a fake gun. Now this is the second figure McFarlane has made that comes with a hand like this. Now of course I haven't seen the movie The Batman. Maybe he walks around pointing his little fingers at people like this. But I almost think this is sort of McFarlane's way to taunt Warner Brothers. They're giving us these fake gun hands with the characters that should come with guns. Maybe I'm wrong about that. The other figure that had hands like this was Red Hood from Gotham Knights, and that Red Hood damn sure should have come with a gun, but he's just not allowed to. I don't believe we actually saw Penguin using a gun in the trailer, but I am certain he will use one sometime in the film. And here's his other pair of hands. It's 2 gripping hands. Of course, there are no accessories for him to actually grip, but these are the hands that I imagine most people use with this figure most of the time. Even though this Penguin doesn't come with an umbrella, and honestly I don't recall him using one in any of the trailers. Every Penguin has to have an umbrella. I took an umbrella from a DST or Diamond Select Toys TV show Gotham Penguin. They're 7-inch scale, and it works great with this guy. He can hold this umbrella in numerous positions. Here he is, holding it like a cane. And here he is, holding it like a gun. And although he doesn't come with any guns, here's Penguin holding a couple of pistols. I had these lying around. There's some 7-inch scale pistols. He has 2 gripping hands, and they both have trigger fingers. Now I'm sure you guys didn't forget, but I got 2 of these Penguin figures. I thought to myself, I could do a head swap and have another generic gangster or thug. Now one thing I thought in my head was the Diamond Select line from Gotham, that's 7-inch scale. They never made it Carmine Falcone, and I thought, this guy might work really good for either Carmine Falcone or Salvatore Maroni if I could find the right head. His body size is perfect for Salvatore Maroni, a little bit bigger guy in a suit and trench coat. I also thought this could make for a pretty good custom McFarlane Bullock. So I have this wrestling figure of Paul Heyman. I thought the head might work for a Salvatore Maroni, kind of based off the TV show Gotham. It's not perfect, but just something I was messing around with. And then I have this Diamond Select Toys Gotham Bullock. Wanted to see how both these heads looked on this Penguin body. Here's the Penguin figure with his regular head. And here it is with the Paul Heyman head, working as a substitute for a Salvatore Maroni from the TV show Gotham. Not perfect, but I'm pretty pleased with what I'm looking at. And here's the Penguin body with the Diamond Select Toys Harvey Bullock head attached. Everybody's favorite fat detective in Gotham City. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure, his accessories, and some other accessories you can use to enhance this guy, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing right at about 7.0 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far, not too bad. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders, ball joint, goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, just increasing the range of motion here a little bit. Bicep cut below that. And it seems odd they would give him a bicep cut with elbow articulation right below it. Single jointed elbow, a little bit less than a 90-degree bend. Rotation in the elbow as well. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Now, his torso area, really can't tell what kind of articulation is under here. I'm going to just say I don't think there's anything. His waist has some kind of ball joint, though. So you can rotate the guy around a little bit, go forward and back. But you're really not going to get too many of those poses to stick. I mean, he can bend down a little bit. Not too bad there. Legs. When pull them out about this far, they're obviously obstructed by the jacket. Not a ball joint, but a similar type of concept. Standard McFarlane legs. Rotation. I mean, it's there, but you're not going to get too much out of it. You really don't need too much under this jacket. Forward, about that far. Back, not much. His knees, which are crazy low on the figure. Single jointed. They go back about that far. They do have rotation. Then his ankle here goes forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's Penguin standing in the streets of Gotham, looking just mean. Here's Penguin with a bunch of his mobster or gangster buddies, and as Batman drops down and beats the shit out of these gangsters, when he's looking at the Penguin, the only one left, Penguin just says, "Hold on, sweetheart." Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's the Penguin, next to the first assortment of the Batman figures. That includes Batman, Catwoman, and Riddler. And let's not forget, the Batcycle is also part of the first assortment. And here's Penguin with the rest of the second assortment of the Batman. This is the Unmasked Batman, Penguin, Unmasked Selina Kyle, and the Drifter Bruce Wayne with the facial covering. And let's not forget, the Drifter motorcycle is part of the second assortment. Here's my entire collection of the Batman figures. So far, I believe I have everybody that you can get. The only one I'm missing is going to be the Drifter Bruce Wayne without the facial covering. He's going to be a Target exclusive and should be available soon. So far, definitely liking this line and getting really hyped for the movie. And while not exactly relevant to the Penguin figure, it is relevant to the Batman line. I now have a total of 3 of these Riddler figures. Now, I originally thought of getting 3 of these Riddler figures. Number 1, they don't look like a traditional Riddler. I thought maybe I could have 3 of these guys working for a traditional Riddler as Riddler henchmen or thugs. And then in trailer number 3, there's definitely at least 2 parts where Batman is fighting numerous guys like this. There are clearly some decoys in the film. Now, funny thing is, when I got my order from CMD Store, it included a free Riddler. Obviously, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't on the invoice. Whoever picked my order simply messed up, and luckily, they didn't mess up and forget anything. They just included an extra Riddler. And since I already had 1 Riddler open and 1 for my unopened collection, I now had this extra one. I decided to open all 3 of them so I could have Batman fighting 3 decoy Riddlers just like in the trailer. Here's the movie Penguin, next to several different Batman figures based off the comics. Then, next to several more Batman figures from different various forms of media. Here's the Penguin, next to a bunch of members of the Justice League from Zack Snyder's Justice League. These are some other live-action DC figures. They're from the DC Cinematic Universe, which is completely unrelated to the Batman. Then, next to some more live-action DC figures. These figures are from the Suicide Squad, which is also part of the DC Cinematic Universe. And here's Penguin, next to McFarlane's Arrow. Up until these the Batman figures, Arrow is the only live-action DC figure not from the DC Cinematic Universe. Arrow's from CW's Arrowverse. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to Superboy Prime and the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman, Blue Edition. Here he is, next to the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn and the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. Then, next to a couple of Lobo figures. Here's Penguin, next to the recently released Batman 3 Joker's Wave. Then, next to Nightwing and Red Hood from Gotham Knights. And now, next to a few Swamp Thing mega figures. Here's Penguin, next to the Year 2 Batman. And here he is, with the Batman Who Laughs and Robin Crow's 4-pack. And finally, next to the Speed Force Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here's Penguin, next to a NECA Edward from Twilight. Robert Pattinson, who plays Batman in The Batman, also played Edward from Twilight, so this kind of works for a makeshift younger Bruce Wayne. And here's Penguin, next to a Diamond Select Toys, Alfred from Gotham, and Bernard from Westworld. Since McFarlane's not giving us an Alfred or Commissioner Gordon, I have to provide my own, and these could fit in great with the McFarlane Batman line. Now let's check him out, next to some other Penguin figures. Here he is, next to a couple of DST or Diamond Select Toys Gotham Penguin figures. Then, next to several different DC Direct and DC Collectibles Penguin figures. And here he is, next to a Yamato Penguin. Then, next to my Mattel Penguin figures. And now, here he is, next to a Kenner Penguin figure. Here are all the different live-action Penguin figures that they've made. They're from the 1966 Batman TV show, Batman Returns, Gotham, and now The Batman. And here are all the different Penguin figures that I have in my collection. Here he is, with a bunch of Arkham-style Penguin henchmen. In the Arkham games, the Penguin henchmen sported a bunch of gray camo and a lot of my jackets on. Then, next to a couple of figures I use as fill-ins for the Kabuki twins. The Kabuki twins were Penguin henchmen in the cartoon The Batman. And here's Penguin with a bunch of Kenner Penguin commandos from Batman Returns. I imagine the Penguin's henchmen in The Batman will be a little bit more traditional. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. Here he is, with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel, DC Universe Classics, and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, this Penguin is a fantastic figure. This is the type of action figure I like. Honestly, I like boring action figures that look like regular people that I can use for civilians, thugs, mobsters, and henchmen in my overall Batman action figure collection. This guy's right up my alley. This guy's sculpt and paint job are excellent. His face looks really good like the Penguin for the movie. His articulation, it kinda sucks, but you really don't need a guy like this to be super articulated. His accessories, they also kinda suck, kinda non-existent. Sure, the extra hands, that's great, but I would like an umbrella or a gun. Although I've not seen the movie, so I don't really know what's appropriate for this guy. If I were to rate this figure, in my book, I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. I'm really enjoying this figure. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this guy. I might have to get even another Penguin for customization purposes. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.